Hello, everyone, and welcome to the August 14th edition of Wraeclastonomics. This is episode number 3. This is a series where I kind of break down what I see as the going rates on on the currencies in Path of Exile, and I try to give a little bit of insight as to why these shifts are occurring. And so anyways, all of these rates are intended to represent rates at which you can get a trade at easily. Sure, you could probably try to get more out of what you're trying to sell or buy, but these are rates that I think are indicative of where the market actually sits on the value for the item. So keep that in mind as I'm going through all of this. I might say, well, Exalt is currently going for about 60C, and you might say, well, I saw somebody selling for 65. And yeah, sure, you're going to see that happen. But that doesn't mean that they're actually selling at 65. So anyways. So let's just get started. Scrolls are static at about 160 for 1C. Transmutes, still see those at about 40 for 1. Augmentations, still insufficient data on that. They just don't see a whole lot of action in the market. Not a lot of people are buying. Whetstones, 20 for 1C. Armor, same, 40 for 1C. Baubles, still small sample. Actually, I haven't really seen a whole lot of people buying over the past week, so I went with the rate that I had for the week before on it, just to leave it up there as something, Chromes are pretty steady at about 17 or 18 for 1C. Some people are trying to buy at 20. Some people are even selling at 20 for 1. Chromes just haven't really matured in value the way that they have in some previous leagues that have seen them dip pretty low in terms of ratio versus chaos. Alts, you can get you can sell those pretty easily at 15 to 1. I have seen people buying as low as 14 to 1, and I expect that this trend will continue. I think alts will continue to be very strong against the chaos in the coming weeks of this league. Jewelers, 7 to 1 is a pretty standard rate. You maybe even could get 6 for 1 from somebody who was desperate. A lot of people are trying to buy at 8 to 1, but don't take that price if you're selling. And if you're buying at 8 for 1, be prepared to probably wait or get them in small quantities. Chance orbs have strengthened against the chaos, up to 6 for every 1 chaos now. Seeing a lot of people are chance orbing wide items to try to get valuable uniques. So kind of hand in hand with this with chance orbs, also you can make some easy money by looting leather belts and agate amulets. One second. Oh, I just had a big sneeze and I didn't want to blow out your eardrums. So keep that in mind. Chance orbs 6 to 1. Do I think they'll go any lower than that? I really don't know. They could push harder than that, but in all the leagues I've played, I don't think that I've really seen them go harder than 6 to 1. Chisel it has weakened a little bit more. It's now 2 for 1C. Yeah, I think with the changes that Grinding Gears Games announced coming this week to mapping, I think it's going to introduce more people into the mid-level mapping, and I feel like chisels are going to gain some value back with that. I think they're going to be seeing more use. Fuse is pretty steady at 2 for 1. Alks are 2 for 1. I kind of associate Alks with chisels in the respective mapping because I think that Alks are also going to strengthen as more people are entering into the mid-tier maps easier. I think you're going to see more alking that's going to happen because you're going to have more people in those maps. Scours 2 for 1, that's standard. Blessed 2 for 1. Veil orbs have appreciated against the chaos. they've pushed over the 1-for-1 mark with chaos now, and to reliably be able to buy Veil, you're going to have to actually pay more than a chaos for one Veil orb. You can still find trades at 1-for-1 C, but they're few and far between, and it's generally not going to be anybody that's going to have any kind of volume. Anybody that's a dealer in Veil that actually keeps up with the market, they're either sitting on their Veil orbs to see what happens, or they are charging a pretty high price. So something like 5 chaos for 4 Veil would be a pretty common transaction, or even actually a worse rate than that. I've seen people selling Veil, at like a 1.5 chaos per Veil. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it could be a situation now where, with the way that the maps are going to be in the mid tiers, you might see Veil backing off a little bit because people will not, maybe, I mean, I'm just postulating here, but people might not be needing to Veil orb their Alct maps to maintain mid tiers. Regrets 1-for-1, I think that's probably going to be a standard right there. Regals have weakened against the chaos. You can only get 1.5 C out of a regal now, so I don't think it'll go any lower than that. I think 1.5 to 2 is where it probably belongs. Exalts continue to strengthen. I've got them at 60 C. I certainly wouldn't sell them at 60 C right now, but if you're buying, that's probably the rate I would try to get. If you're selling, probably try to squeeze a few more chaos out of that, or just sit on them. Rip Eternals, because this is what it's all about. And now that we don't have Eternals anymore, this is the market. YOLO Exalt. GCP are currently sitting at 2C. I feel like as the league continues to progress, you're going to see that GCP price probably start to head back north. I'm certain that there's some pressure being applied to the GCP price downward because of how easy it is to get the Gem Cutter card, the Divination card. It's very, very simple to farm that out. So that's going to keep it a little bit lower. In past leagues, we've seen GCP be like 4-to-1. I think as the league gets towards the end, you're probably going to see it go back up. It wouldn't surprise me to see it back up around 3-to-1, which is where I think it probably should be. What that means, since GCPs are so cheap, there's a little bit of a market there for some arbitrage with quality gems. If you can score some cheap GCP in bulk, look around for quality gems that you can knock up to 20 and get a nice tidy sum off of. If you do that enough, you're going to make a pretty big profit. Divine Orbs, about 13C. I've seen them go for a little bit more than that. People are trying to trade them for an X, and an X is about 60, so you're looking at a rough valuation there of about 15C. But selling them by themselves, I've seen anywhere between 12 to 15. So, yeah. And did see some mirrors being traded. The price on the mirror, the asked price, not buying, was 50 Exalts. So, as it's as with anything that's super rare, the value of the mirror is dictated by what the people are willing to pay for it. And if people are willing to pay vast sums of money to mirror items, which they are, we know that they are, that guy's going to get his 50x out of that mirror. So anyways, so that is what I see in the market for this week. Now, things just to keep in mind, I will repeat again, they are putting in a patch, I believe next week, that's going to address some of the map issues that people are having in mid-tiers for warbands and standard. Now, these prices don't apply for standard. Obviously, standard is, going to be very different from what these prices are because it's a mature economy. And these also do not apply for Tempest. Tempest prices will be different as well. So, got any questions? Want to tell me anything about something that you see in the market? Got any requests for things that you would like to see me add to this? If you want to see me talk about some uniques and what I think about the value of them and what's going to happen to them, feel free to drop me a line. You can either leave a comment in the YouTube, or you can also hit me up in game, screen name Nostalgic. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's informed you, and I hope that it helps you to make good trades and find good value. I'll see you next week for the next episode of Wraeclastonomics. Until then, game on.